It was a quiet Tuesday when I heard the unmistakable sound again, the low thud, the crunch of splintered wood, the pathetic squeal of tires trying to pretend it never happened. Karen, our self-appointed HOA president, had once again obliterated my mailbox like it owed her money. She didn't knock, didn't leave a note. She just drove off as if wrecking someone's property was part of her daily cardio. Now, I'm not the loud neighbor. I don't throw parties. I don't paint my door lime green. I drink coffee, keep my grass tidy, and mind my business. But Karen? She made everyone's business her own. And her SUV made my mailbox its personal punching bag. What she didn't know was that I had a plan. One she definitely wasn't ready for. The next time she hit it, she wasn't going to win. This wasn't just a mailbox anymore. This was a message. And when the dust settled, Karen would learn the hard way that some neighbors play nice, and others engineer revenge. Let me set the scene. I live in a quiet suburban cul-de-sac. Nice houses, manicured lawns, that one neighbor who grills shirtless year-round. It's peaceful on the surface. Then there's the HOA. And at the center of that bureaucracy sat Karen, queen of citations and passive-aggressive emails. She wore her power like a tiara, handing out fines for things, like non-standard wreaths and visible hose storage. The first incident happened innocently enough. Karen reversed too fast, leaving an HOA meeting, and clipped my mailbox. I watched the whole thing from my front porch. She got out, glanced at the damage, then shrugged. "You should move it further from the road," she said. I replaced it. 2 weeks later, smash. Round two. This time she said nothing. Just drove away. I replaced it again. Round three was what finally got to me. She was speeding down the lane after another compliance patrol when she clipped it head-on. Wood splinters everywhere. She got out, barefoot in her red velour tracksuit, inspected the remains, then muttered, "That mailbox was too fragile anyway." She didn't even look at me. That's when I decided no more. It wasn't about the mailbox. It was about respect. It was about drawing the line, literally. I poured a cup of coffee, opened my laptop, and started planning. Not a complaint. Not a call to the HOA. A design. The last mailbox Karen would ever want to meet. Before I could roll out my retaliation, Karen escalated. Not with her SUV yet, but with bureaucracy. I got a letter taped to my door. Violation, paint shade deviation. Trim must be HOA beige 3B, not 3C. 3 shades of beige. That's how deep Karen's tyranny ran. Then came the lawn measurements. I caught her squatting by my hydrangeas with a yardstick. When I asked if she'd lost something, she said, "Just ensuring no one's violating grass height requirements." I laughed. She didn't. Then came the fines. $50 for aggressive mailbox posture, $75 for inappropriate yard decor, $100 for non-conforming structural repair. It was open war, and I was done playing defense. I opened my garage and got to work. My new mailbox wasn't just HOA compliant, it was HOA proof. A steel-reinforced core wrapped in cedar, mounted in concrete 4 feet deep, hidden shock absorbers. And yes, I triple-checked the measurements with the HOA guidelines. It looked normal, but it could stop a small tank. Meanwhile, Karen hovered. I'd see her driving by slower than usual. She'd pause, squint, probably wondering why I hadn't retaliated yet. Until the fourth impact. She was texting, turning, and boom! This time, the mailbox didn't move. Her bumper? Destroyed. Her headlight? Gone. Her pride? Now a hood ornament. I came outside casually, holding my mug. "You okay?" I asked. She was red, shaking, furious. "This is sabotage! You weaponized your mailbox." "Nope," I said. Just followed HOA standards to the letter. "You should be proud." She called the cops. They came, looked at the scene, checked my permits, nodded. "Ma'am, your vehicle left the roadway and struck his property." Karen's mouth fell open. "But he built it on purpose." "And it's built to code," the officer replied. For the first time, Karen looked powerless. But I wasn't done yet. With Karen's authority crumbling, I went on offense. First, exposure. I printed flyers called Know Your Mailbox Rights, Surviving HOA Overreach. I included code citations, design plans, and a passive-aggressive, brought to you by a concerned engineer. Neighbors loved them. Some even asked me to build their mailboxes. Second, optics. I installed a legal security camera pointed at the mailbox. Just in case, I told Steve, the HOA vice chair. He smirked. Then came the big play. I filed a motion with the board to hold a vote of no confidence in Karen. Grounds: abuse of power, intimidation, and vehicular harassment of approved structures. The meeting was packed. Karen showed up ready to argue. But the board had seen the footage. And the neighbors? Tired of her reign. I moved to vote, Steve said. The result? Unanimous. Karen was stripped of her position. Show president no more. She stormed out. This is illegal. You're all siding with him. Steve looked at me. You ever thought about running? I laughed. I'm just the mailbox guy. But I'd proven something. Even in a world of fines, bylaws and beige paint, calm strategy beats chaos. Karen didn't go quietly. Days later, she sent an email to the neighborhood listserv titled, Dangerous Engineering in Our Midst. She accused me of architectural aggression and called for emergency mailbox regulations. One neighbor replied, Karen, maybe stop driving over things. Another, I sleep better knowing my mailbox might survive you. But the best response, someone printed a yard sign that read, My mailbox stands with Mark. I didn't make it, but I smiled every time I saw it. Then came the potluck. Karen arrived uninvited, barefoot again, and demanded to speak. I've been victimized by unhinged engineering, she yelled. I stood up, raised my cup, and said, You ran over my mailbox 4 times. I just built one that doesn't back down. People laughed. Steve added, Karen, you lost. Let it go. She left in a huff. And that was the last we saw of her SUV, or her power. Since then, life's been peaceful. My mailbox? Still standing. No scratches. No citations. Neighbors nod as they walk by. Some stop to admire the construction. One even brought me pie. But here's the real story. It wasn't about mailboxes. It was about knowing when to draw a line and how to hold it. You don't need to scream to win. You don't need to break the rules. You just need to understand them better than the person trying to abuse them. So if you've ever dealt with a Karen or someone who thinks power means never, apologizing, remember this. Build something strong, stand your ground, and never underestimate the power of a good blueprint. Comment Mailbox Justice if you made it to the end. What would you have done if someone kept smashing your mailbox? Subscribe for more stories where the underdog doesn't just fight back, he engineers the win. Because out here, justice doesn't always arrive in a courtroom. Sometimes it's cemented in the ground and waits quietly for the next SUV.